Greetings! Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times for Friday, April 9, 2021. For today's editorial, Philippines should retire the word Filipina to denote nationality for Filipino women. It is striking and primeval that the Filipino nation virtually stands alone in the world in having one nationality name for its male citizenry or Filipino and another for its female citizens or Filipina. In the official Filipino dictionary today, whose alphabet firmly includes the letter F, there is no entry for the noun Filipina. In the older Tagalog English dictionary authored by Leo James English, there is similarly no entry of the word Filipina, which of course is understandable because there was no letter F in the native alphabet at the time. We are constrained to raise this issue of proper nationality nomenclature because of the way the sad case of Miss Vilma Carey has been depicted in the media and even in diplomatic circles. Amid the storm of protest and indignation over the assault of Miss Carey in New York City, nearly every angle in the story has been covered by the media, the country's legation in New York, and various organizations of Filipinos and Asian Americans in the US. She was consistently described as a Filipina, Filipina American, or Pinay, which is Filipino slang for Filipina. No one bothered to describe her correctly as a Filipino or Filipino American. The big mystery about her case is why she was assaulted and why so viciously. Her case appears destined to be enrolled in public records as a hate crime, much like the recent crimes that sprouted in the US over race and politics. The 38-year-old suspect in the incident, Brandon Elliott, was out on patrol for having killed his mother. In the Carey case, he appeared before a Manhattan court to face 2 charges of second-degree assault as a hate crime and 1 count of first-degree attempted assault as a hate crime. Elliott kicked the helpless Vilma without provocation and stomped on her face while yelling at her, "You don't belong here." The Philippine Consul General in New York, Elmer Cato, issued a forthright statement at an Asian American demonstration denouncing the assault as the suspect was scheduled to appear before a Manhattan criminal court on Monday. Cato said, "Today, Brandon Elliott will appear in this criminal court, and to him we say, Vilma belongs here, Asians in New York belong here, everyone belongs here." Cato also linked the Carey case to the case of 61-year-old Noel Quintana, whose face was slashed while riding the New York Railway. Cato lamented, "It is part of our DNA to look after our elderly, but contrary to what Elliott said, Vilma and the rest of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community belong here. Our community contributes significantly to the greatness of this city." The New York City metro area has the largest number of AAPI residents, with 2.4 million people contributing more than $6.2 billion to state and local revenues. Cato also said that Filipino nurses have been critically involved in the US fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. 30% of the almost 200 registered nurses who died from the coronavirus came from the Philippines. 25% of Filipinos in New York work in the healthcare industry. It is, thus, ironic for Elliott to insist that Vilma and the AAPI community she belongs to do not belong here, Cato said. Apropos this case, we believe our Philippine legation should ensure that Miss Carey is correctly depicted as a Filipino and not idly described as a Pinay. We presume that her passport says that she is Filipino. For the longest time, the description of Filipino women as Filipinas has persisted because of official unawareness of what was happening in international media and their prediction to use Filipina as a nationality name. Yet all other nationalities have only a single word to describe their citizens. There was also an unfortunate time in Britain when Filipino domestic workers were called Filipinas, and one lexicographer sought to enter in its dictionary the noun Filipina, which it defined as a servant. Fortunately, a storm of popular and official protest prevented this calumny against the nation and Philippine womanhood from being enshrined in a dictionary. An official statement of policy can settle this matter. And that's the editorial for Friday, April 9, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.